But what they will do is for that 10-second reel, they'll try to convince you that everything's baby, no. Let me say it again. This is the best life you can live. Oh, yes, it is. Stay too long on that, but I gotta grow up in this, and it's not that I've been sinless. My God, I've made a lot of mistakes, but thank God for the mercy and grace of God. Oh yeah, I made more than my fair share of mistakes, but God is faithful and just to forgive us. I'm thankful for that today. And I got to sleep under the pews. See, when I was growing up, we had those old shag carpets. You remember those, Pastor Comb? You could comb them with a big old comb. I'll tell you this, though. Sleeping on those things is better than sleeping on a Tempur-Pedic mattress. You slide under those pews. Whew. Only time I get woken up is when people are rolling around the floor smacking my pew. My God, waking me up. But see, I grew up in this, born and raised, and so I got to see some things. In fact, I remember me and my buddies would go to the bathroom, and we would climb the walls on the stalls. Now, don't get any ideas, children, but then my dad would find out. He would take me back into those stalls, you know. Help me, Lord. Anyways, I won't preach it. I'll leave that up to the pastor. But and so I grew up in this. It's been a wonderful life, but I could tell you many stories. I could tell you so many stories, great stories that I have living for Jesus Christ and getting to be around His people. And I remember when I was 5 years old. I'll never forget this. When I was 5 years old, we were in that old sanctuary with the shag burgundy carpets. And I remember it was a Sunday night service, and I was only 5. I want you to remember that. I was only 5 years old. And I remember where the preacher started preaching, the Spirit started moving. And like any good Pentecostal service, there was some good amens and some shouting and let's go. Let's have a move of God. And I didn't really know, because I'm 5 years old, I didn't understand why we jump, why we shout. I just thought it was fun. I'm 5. I just thought it was fun. So me and my buddies, we would come up here, and this time I was on the right side of the pulpit, and we're just dancing and shouting, and we're just having a good time. We're only 5, 6, 7, me and my buddies. We're just having fun. Hey, can I tell you, it's all right to have fun in church. Living for God is fun. I won't stay there, but we came up here and we were dancing around and we're just having a good time. I'll never forget it. It was like it was yesterday. We're dancing right here. It's vivid in my mind. And as we're dancing, there's people off to my left, people off to my right. And I'll never forget it as I begin to hear some commotion on my left side. I can picture it in my mind. And all of a sudden, I begin to hear noises. And as I begin to turn, Brother Andrew, all of a sudden, I begin to see people fall from that side of the church, and they're just falling out. I didn't know what was going on. I'm 5 years old, and as I begin to turn, I saw Brother Getz, who was standing right here, and whatever hit them hit him, and when it hit him, he fell forward and began to speak in other tongues and receive the baptism. No one laid hands on him. He just received the baptism of the Holy Ghost. And as I was turning, this is how fast I saw him hit the altar, and all of them hit, and as he hit, I turned, and whatever hit him, it hit me at the age of 5 years old. No one laid their hands on me. It threw me onto that altar, and for the first time in my life, I began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit of God gave. I was only 5, so baby, I remember when the fire fell. I was 5 years old, and nobody had to convince me that it was real or not real. I remember where I was standing when that wind of the Holy Ghost came sweeping through an old apostolic church and threw me on the altar, and I began to speak in tongues. Oh, I remember when the fire hit me, and you know what? It seemed like minutes. I was only 5, but it had been hours. I had been laying out in the Holy Ghost for hours. I thought in my mind when I got up, it had only been minutes. I'll never forget it, but it had been hours as a 5. No one laid their hands on me, so you can't say that. I was 5. I didn't know the theology. I didn't know eschatology. I didn't have history. No. All I knew is that something from another world touched my world, and I began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit gave me the utterance. What am I telling you? You've come too late to tell me that the fire of God's Spirit does not fall. It still falls in 2024. You come too late to convince me that this isn't real. It's real. It's real. I know it's real. I said it's real. Felt like minutes, but it had been hours. And I'll never forget it like it was yesterday. After I'd gotten up from that altar, my dad came and grabbed me and he said, listen, you need to be baptized. I said, I'm in. He grabbed me, and back then they had offices, on the sides of the platform, or they had offices up there on the sides. Well, on this side, we went up on the platform, and there was an office, and he gave me that little robe because I'm 5 years old. Gave me that tiny little robe, and he said, my dad said to me, listen, we're going to baptize you. And I said, all right. He said, you're going to put your left hand on your nose and hold your wrist. Here we go. I'll get it right. Like this. He showed me. I remember like it was yesterday. And I think I